Are you stuck at home in lockdown? Yeah, I know, we all are. Don't worry, we've got you covered because it's time once again for Live at Night with Pete Ferrero.
Don't you want to be like, I don't give a shit?
Send me your address.
It
I'll be
is.
happy to send you a copy.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. And so, and I paid for it. So that's just lovely. No.
I'm on. Okay, what's that? I'm live at night.
Where whatever happens, happens. Now, along with his special guests, here's your host, Pete Ferrero.
All right. And I think we have Chris in here too. I mean, listen, guys, this is fucked. Baseball is fucked. We went from going on about the Astros to
Okay, sorry.
you know, and I've got this here. I've got now you can't even see this shit, but I've got a Mets. Yeah.
Good shit.
And I think Chris is here. Chris, are you with us?
Hey guys.
I feel like we're at a business meeting. And I think we got DJ Lex in here now. There's Chris. Oh, I love that. Oh, man. Yo, Chris, I think you can actually play the video in the background. We should do a share screen on that. Let me. I'd love that. The Wally Backman.
Hey, Pete, can I see everybody else or just you?
No, listen, there's a button somewhere called gallery view.
Are you on your phone, Norman?
On my iPad.
If you slide the screen over to your left or your right, it pulls in all the cameras.
There you go.
No.
Holy shit. Wait. Hold on. Let's talk about that beard real quick. Oh, my God.
I love it.
Oh, my God.
What's going on, Pete?
Not much, man. How are you, man? It's
Good,
been
good.
and I got my Mets hat on. I think everyone's got their Mets gear on, except for somebody.
Except for that guy over there. His name
Yeah.
That guy.
Okay, let's do this first. What the fuck did we have made opening day? Who were we playing opening day? Phillies?
Oh, Washington.
Washington. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, DeGrom versus Scherzer. It would have been a nice 1-0 game that we would have blown in the bottom of the ninth, probably. Well, we'd be at McFadden's by then anyway, so who cares?
All right, let's talk about this first of all. Before we even went into the season, there was this whole Astros debacle that everybody was talking about. It was all of what the rage. Everybody was talking about baseball. Everybody was talking about the Astros and what they did and the cheating and all that. Do you think this virus is going to almost just ignore the entire cheating scandal?
Yeah. What happened to that? I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Forgot all about it.
I think it'll come back up once all the teams play the Astros in their game. They won't forget about that.
I think Carlos Beltran started coronavirus.
Well, I will say, I mean, it's best for the Mets and even the Yankees right now. I mean, we were all, Syndergaard injured. We were already starting shit. Even Yankee fans have that. They had a bunch of people. Not that we give a shit, but they had a bunch of people down on the injury list. So it was already going down the road that we've seen it go down many years in a row. So maybe this is the best year for him to get that surgery. I guess, right?
I think it came down to, man, he's too big. Like he's just too. He's running around with his shirt off, and I get it, and whatever. But you need somebody lanky. You need a DeGrom. You need that kind of build because have you ever seen a jacked pitcher before?
No.
Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah, really?
Back in the day.
Yeah. When we got rid of him or when we had him?
It is a little bit. Noah's a little bit like WWE. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's big, like a wrestler almost. Yeah.
So let's talk about what would have been on the menu for that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get to. What would have been on the menu for opening day?
Well, let me just say, let's start off with breakfast, lunch tradition, right?
Right.
We got hot dogs, we got kebabs.
Right.
No, we normally hit you with the breakfast, the Taylor ham jersey.
Taylor ham, that's
Love it.
Taylor ham, egg, cheese. I started putting in the hash brown with everything, and people seem to like it on the everything bagel.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, everybody just started bringing their own food or whatever they wanted to add on. Lexi brought steaks one time.
Yeah.
Chuck brought Chuck.
Yeah.
I invited Mikey D into this room, but he's got a lot going on. So hello, Mike, if you're watching.
What up, Mike?
But yeah, man, I mean, it sounded like it would have been a fucking awesome opening day menu.
Have you ever had a bad opening day food experience?
Not with you ever. You know what I mean? The experience has always been top notch. But I can inside the stadium, perhaps, right? Yeah.
I guess like if you want to go back to the Shea days, that was shit food.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was just happy.
Hey, I think the times when we had to go across the street to the little Colombian spot.
Oh, the Spanish spot, yeah.
That food was trash.
I know about that spot.
Well, let me get that. How long have you been doing the breakfast? And for people that don't know that are watching, these guys go every year opening day. I only started going, I don't know, a few years back, but you guys have been rocking this for a long time. So how long back have you guys done the breakfast lunch tradition thing?
I mean, the breakfast lunch tradition, I mean, we've always tailgated. We just never put that name on it. So,
How long have you been tailgating, I guess, at the Mets for the Met games?
Since I was probably able to drive, let's say.
Wow,
so,
nice.
Yeah, right. So probably like 18-ish, I guess. And we always started off with.
We were doing the trains for a while too.
True.
With Chuck, putting us on the train situation to get up there.
Yeah.
And that was before I was driving.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it does go back. It does go back to Shea, then, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chuck, speak on it.
Yeah. So what Dan and I used to do, this is the time before like the internet, believe it or not, we were waiting online in freezing cold February to get a couple things: opening day tickets and Mets Yankees tickets and Mets Braves tickets. We would sit out there freezing with a little bit of cognac in our North Face just to stay warm for hours to wait online and get tickets.
Facts.
Damn. So it's fucking a long, long time, many years doing this shit.
Shit, we left Jersey at like 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, sometimes I think Dan leaves at 6 or 5. I feel like one year it was 5
we left in the 5s, yes.
Because half the time I'm like, where the fuck is Lexi at?
Well, he gave me an early time. It's like a 1 o'clock game, and he's like, meet me here at 5:15, 5:30. I'm like, how many hours are we gonna tailgate this? Like, that's crazy.
but now you got to understand that a lot of prep goes into all this, right? So you got the shopping the day before. You got to load the truck, and then you got to do a checklist half the time of what you have, because if you don't have it, then it gets messy. So I got the wipes, I got the knives, I got the paper towels. Backup gas.
Go on.
Yeah, so you perfect it as it goes.
Now, okay, you started to become famous almost a couple of years in a row, right? Where the news would jam on you guys and had discovered you. When did the news things first start? A couple of years ago, a few years back?
Yeah, we did it 3 years in a row. We've been on Channel 2. Shout out to Captain Rel. That's our boy on Channel 2. Lex, what's up?
Yeah,
good guy. They zoom right in on us, but the news anchor is different every year. So one time we had a guy. Last 2 times we had different women. And I always offer food. And it's just
sometimes they partake, sometimes they don't. Yeah,
his name is Walterella. If you want to follow him, Captain Rel 92. He's a good guy. He always
Great
takes
guy.
care of us.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, so I think we would have had a fucking killer opening day. How did you guys each find out that? When did you guys realize that opening day might not happen minimally? Because that was fucked up, right?
Well, what about you, Pete? When did you figure? When did you think that?
Well, okay, like March 1st, I was still holding out hope. I'm like, no, wait, they're fucking gonna cancel baseball. They're not gonna do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like America. You know what I mean? It's like it's an essential worker. WWE's essential worker. So I was, I didn't even know that term essential worker at that time. You know what I mean? I just was like, oh fuck, we're all gonna rock this out. I was planning it. I text Chris, are you going? What's up? Because I was doing the move to LA and all that.
Right.
And then I don't know, somewhere around like the 7th or 8th when this shit started to hit the fan, I was like, fuck, man, I wonder if baseball is going to get shut down. Like tricked in my brain for a hot second there. What about you guys?
I think once when I was watching the Big East tournament the first day, and I think they played like one half and they canceled it, I was like, oh, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
Everything's going to shut down. So probably around the same time, March 5th-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the first thing that alerted me to all of this was when they canceled South by Southwest, which is a film festival, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's weird. But I was like, oh, they're just so dramatic. You know what I mean? But I didn't realize that what level we were at with this thing, you know? But wow, did that just quickly change? We lost you.
Sorry, Sorry, I got incoming calls now, so.
Of course. Yeah. Anyway, so when did you realize that?
I realized it when work started shutting down. And then it realized it hit my industry, and then I said, oh, shit. I go, this is going to be not good. And then all of a sudden, they broke the news. And I think I talked to Lex and I talked to Chuck, and I said, what are you guys thinking? And they're like, Chuck was like, no way. No fucking way. Nope.
Not happening. No way.
Nope.
Yeah,
no way.
I bought insurance on the flights in February. The first time I ever spent $15, but then I started looking again. The flights were like $39. Might happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, and so like now, if it was opening day, you could just get right back there. But it's,
I would give
the opening day.
You know, I would give.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I would give anything to pay the $16 for a beer and watch my Mets fucking play right now.
Exactly,
like,
man. It's fucked up. It's the one thing that's really missing. Like, dude, I'm down with like having to stay in the house to a degree. You know what I mean? I don't want people dying and all this shit too. But like, I'm cool with quarantine. I'm down with like, you know, watching movies and hanging out, doing this thing. But like, no Mets. I can't go
Pete,
back.
Pete, not side note, but you know, what are you souped to go see Dodgers and the Mets?
I will. Yeah. Hopefully stadiums open up, and I'll do Dodgers Mets. I'll do Giants Mets. I'll do Padres Mets. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I might even do a little drive to Arizona. Yeah, if you get me on the right day.
Pete, I want you to take a Dodger dog, and I want you to take it. I just want you to spike it as soon as you get it. I say, let's fucking go Mets now.
But I'll tell you what I won't do. I will not be sitting with the 7 line. You know what I mean?
There we go.
Talk about it.
I support that.
That ain't happening under any circumstance. You know, I'll watch them all from afar.
Now, Chuck, would you make your way out to Cali to the game with him?
I would love to go to Cespedes Ravine. Maybe make it like a little wine tour / Mets thing. Yeah. Anytime Olga wants to go like wine country, I'm like, all right, let me check the Mets schedule real quick. Yeah, we can definitely do these 10 days.
I mean, anytime a trip comes up, I'm always like, wait, you want to go to Pittsburgh? Okay, cool. Are the Mets playing? You know what I mean? I always try to sort of thwart that. Man, I'm just bummed by it. You know, I miss baseball a lot. But it's all sports too. I know you guys follow a lot of things. What's it been like for you? I mean, what's it like forget about baseball for a minute. Dan, I know you're doing some really important shit in the world, and I think it's important that we shout you out about what's going on. Tell me what you're doing and tell the universe here that's watching what you're doing.
Well, we got first of all, thank you. And I don't look for the pat in the back. And obviously I'm out here because
guys, I'm bringing Rich Mancuso in the room, who is a legend on WFAN from back in the day. But go ahead, Dan.
Oh, all right. Oh, Chuck! I don't know if I can talk over Chuck now. He's gonna get into this. No, but real quick, what we're doing. I mean, we're building these temporary tents, and it's out Long Island, and it's a lot of construction workers, a lot of people busting their ass, 12-hour days, 2 shifts, 2 job sites. It's mayhem, but it's for the right thing.
Yeah.
So like the end of the day, by my second coffee break, by 4 o'clock, I am shot. I don't want to do anything, but there's something where you're putting an outlet in, you're like, oh, this is going to save somebody's life. Boom, I'm going to put that in.
Word.
You know, maybe. I hope it doesn't. I hope nobody gets in there.
Yeah. But it's
smart,
smart, man. It's very smart, you know.
Yeah. And it's definitely rewarding. It's like a self-rewarding thing. I definitely and I appreciate the thanks and all that, but listen, we got to do it. We got to do it. So
now joining us, hey, Rich Mancuso's in here too. Rich, there's a button that says start video so we can see you. I don't know if you see that button.
Yep.
There he is.
How are you?
Doing, Rich?
Legend. Yes.
Hi, guys. Oh, I love that backdrop, City Field, where I should have been today.
Right? Rich Mancuso I found Rich Mancuso because he used to do the overnights on WFAN, doing all the old school
see
wrestling.
Some of my wrestling. I don't know if you could see some of my wrestling photos above my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the old timers up there. Yeah, where I'm talking from.
So he used to do the inside scoop thing before it was a popular thing, you know, on the air, on the radio. Yeah. But you're an avid Mets fan like us, and you're a reporter.
I'm not ashamed to say that
either. No fake news here, man. No, just kidding.
No. Did you see my latest Facebook post?
No. What did you write? I missed it.
Oh, it was nasty. I called them the dumpster, and I told people if you don't like what I just said, then do this. Block me or I block you, because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of that egomaniac bully every day going on a podium, opening his mouth with his propaganda, his contradictions, and I'm going to tell you, his bullshit.
That's it. I love it, man.
Why we don't know where we're headed. That's what hurts. And you know, the sad part, and I don't want to go off course because we're talking Mets here, and I want to do that to get away from all this crap. But you know what? We are in a serious thing here.
Yes.
And I'm worried. You're worried. That one's worried, and he's up there worrying about his reelection. That's all he's worried about.
I agree. And
I am really, really, really worried. I've never been more worried in my life. And I'm telling you, I don't know when. I don't know. I might have done my last Met game last October at Citi Field, because all these websites are not going to be able to cover games when they resume unless they have the strict testing in place and everything else. We're going to see a totally different world, guys.
Yeah, man. I mean, so how did you find out that baseball was going to be canceled? Were you shocked? I mean, this is an unprecedented event, right?
Oh, you mean canceled as where it is now?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I had, I talked to numerous players, as you know, they always do, and scouts that are in the know that were told to go get off the road. They were told to go home. Players had they were tuned into it a bit, and some other baseball personnel. And you put that all together, and they said, look, we're not going to be here much longer because this is getting worse and worse. And so that's how I kind of knew that was the beginning of this. And here we're at, and nobody really knows when they're going to go back, if they're going to go back. And if you ask me, I don't think they're going to go back this year.
Yeah.
It's highly improbable.
And I miss Citi Field a lot. But I guess with that being said, what happens in your opinion, and I'm going to ask the rest of the guys this too, but in your opinion, what happens with contracts and things like that?
Good question. Yeah. Well, I was discussing this today with a few people in the game and out of the game, and the question comes up to me a lot.
Yeah.
I may not be the best one to answer this, but what I've been able to gather from some of the players that I have been talked to over the last few days, they're getting paid till the end of next month. Now, whether they're going to getting their full salary as if they were playing actual game, I don't know. We're never going to get that far. But for what I'm understanding and what I can come up with is that a lot of these contracts are going to be restructured. And they do have insurance, just like any worker would. That's almost like getting laid off, furloughed, or whatever you call it.
Right.
But what I think is going to happen with a lot of the contracts is they're going to be restructured. They're going to be paid, but they're not going to be paid the full that they would get in the contract. So it's going to be all restructured, which adds to more of the mess that baseball is in and what baseball faces as we move ahead. And that includes the free agents, and that includes tenured time towards a contract. What do you call a tenured player now? Because you're going to be losing just about a whole season, and that changes that's why I just said moments ago, the complexion of everything. And that's what's happening, and it's facing us just like all the other situations and problems facing us every day with this pandemic. So
it's crazy. And then in terms of, so the season started off, how did you feel, and I'm going to ask each of you this, how did you feel Brody did in terms of the off season with the Mets? How did you feel that was going?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it maybe a 6 or a 7. I think most of the needs have been filled. I think I discussed this with you and I wrote about it. I like the additions of Walker and Porcello, which gave him the pitching depth. And had the season been going on, that would have been really significant now without Noah Syndergaard out for the year.
Yeah.
So, and I felt that those two additions were very, very important. And I think that was a need that had to be done. And as far as bullpen depth, getting Betances, assuming he's healthy, that was going to be a key thing too.
Big time.
Because when you look at it, if Betances was healthy, and then Diaz and Familia rebounded with Seth Lugo in there, Gesellman, and then who am I missing? It goes Justin Wilson too, coming out of the pen. I felt that was a key. The signing of Betances was real important, and that bullpen would have been very, very important with the new rule, which I was anxious to see, where a guy kind of pen had to face a minimum of 3 batters.
Yeah,
I wanted to see how that was going to span out, not only for the Mets but the rest of Major League Baseball. They say to do that to speed up games, which I felt that wasn't going to make a difference anyway. But on a scale of 1 to 10, Pete, I'd say again, I'd give Brady a 7. Brody.
I know.
Why am I calling him Brady?
That's okay.
Brody, I'd give him a 7. And
don't mention that name around here.
Oh, Brady.
I know that's a tender issue.
Yeah.
But I thought the Mets were going to be on their way to being a contending team all year. I don't know if they would have won the division, but definitely maybe the wild card.
Yes.
And maybe a 90-win season, assuming again that the bullpen came through. And again, I thought, as I told you too, Michael Conforto to me is a key cog in that lineup. He would have started injured. That would have been another story.
Because he was hurt before the.
That's right. So,
Dan, what do you think about that? What do you think? How did you think Brody did?
I don't. I'm kind of going to go with Mr. Mancuso here.
Why are you calling me Mr. Mancuso?
I'm trying to be
you
trying to be respectful.
Dick. You can call me Dick if you want.
Dick it is. I kind of want to hear Chuck's input because he's Mr. Statistician.
Yeah, how did you think Brody did? Now, Chuck does not care for Brody. So
no, I'm not a big fan. Hey, what's up, Dick?
Thank you. What is your what's his name?
Chuck.
My name is Charles. Chuck. You call me
Carlos.
Chuck.
Carlos.
Carlos. Okay. Sí, señor.
No, I can't call you Dick then. That's right. Well, first of all, Met fans are not Dick, so let's put it that way.
Yankee fans.
Wow. I think Brody did the best. I think Brody did the best of what he had to, what was given to him. If the Wilpons would have sold, it would have been a different story.
Right. That was another thing that came up before this season too. There were so many moving parts before this season. The failed sale, right? That was one thing.
Right.
And now, what happens with that, Rich? What do you?
Well, it certainly right now it leads to a lot of questions. What happens, and it's on the table, and it very well may be. And baseball owners are going to lose money, and a lot of money. But and it'll always be now that the Mets will lose more money because these guys don't spend, and don't believe that because the owners are well off. They will not. They might lose, and they got plenty more. Okay.
Right.
I think that's going to reopen again. I think that because now everything got quiet and we haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
It's on the back burner, but I think it'll reopen again. I think Steve Cohen definitely still has an interest in being a major player with the Mets, and I expect that to reopen again. But again, we just don't know when. It's not going to happen now, obviously. And if we have a season next year, which we should, then we can open up during the winter.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's out of the question though that he could still be a part of it, and assume ownership.
Now there was the rumor and innuendo. I don't know if you guys heard that we were going to go through the Grapefruit League, and that's how games were going to be played, and everybody.
I'm all about that.
No, we want. Go ahead, Pete. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say. So, I mean,
yeah.
Is that a feasible option? I don't know.
Oh, it is so bogus. It's unbelievably stupid. Come on. You mean to tell me you're going to quarantine players? You're going to have a robot umpire or an umpire 6 feet away from the catcher? You mean to tell me you're going to have players sitting in the stands distancing themselves instead of in the dugout? That's still a part of the second concept that they came out with. That's all it is created a stupid buzz.
Yeah.
To keep the interest going. 7-inning doubleheaders, which players are not going to want to do. Expanded rosters. No minor league system because there'll be no minor league baseball.
Right. Yeah.
That's out. And you're going to need those guys in case someone gets hurt. Expanded rosters or not.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do? Have teams play in Florida, playing in minor league parks, and teams play in Arizona and minor league parks, and then go into November?
Absolutely.
Come November, have a bogus World Series, a champion of the Cactus League against the champion of the Grapefruit League? What the hell is this? Sandlot baseball? I'll go to the park and watch a World Series when the parks open up again with the kids. Or the Sandlot.
Series at Marlins Park.
I don't know, honestly, guys. I honestly don't know why Major League Baseball even is coming up with such a plan.
Right.
When I talk to players, they tell me, no way. I'm not going to separate myself from my family, quarantine, in the event someone gets sick with the virus. First of all, the fact that there's no fans, that'll make a difference. We may not see fans in ballparks for a long time, so they have the right testing policies, as you know, for this virus.
Yeah.
The other thing is this. When you have a star face of baseball, Mike Trout, coming out and saying, no way, doesn't Major League Baseball, doesn't Commissioner Manfred, don't let me start. I have a name for him. Doesn't Major League Baseball see that the face of baseball is not going to want to do this?
Right.
And if he's saying that, as all the players I talked to mentioned, they heard Trout. They understand where Trout's coming from, and they take the same opinion that Trout has.
Yeah.
Mike Trout is the face of Major League Baseball. Let's face it, guys. And he comes out and says that. So why is Major League Baseball creating this buzz and creating a farce when we all know within the next 30 days they're going to officially say, unfortunately, due to, and we'll start up anew next year. They should just do it now.
Yes.
That's what they should do. And then they have to have another spring training, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah. And before you came on, we were talking about injuries and all this stuff. Like you mentioned, Syndergaard. The Yankees had a lot of injuries. There was a ton of injuries prior to the beginning of the season. What is your thought on that? Like, how do injuries get affected?
Well, if anything, it buys these guys more time to get back.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe like Syndergaard or Luis Severino, guys like that, because they weren't due back till next year anyway.
Right.
The guy in our case with the Mets, Michael Conforto, if they should resume, well, he's back. Cespedes, probably. You could probably end up seeing on his Cespedes. Jed Lowry, who the hell is he anyway? We never saw him. So, but it does buy guys that have been on the injured list more time to heal those wounds and get back in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna happen this year. You just wait till next year. But I think the question is more contracts and free agency, and the major league draft. Will there be a draft in June? Which I don't think not going to happen.
No,
you won't see it in June. They can move it up, but free agency. a guy like Mookie Betts, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine about this earlier today. Mookie Betts may never play for the Dodgers and could be on the Red Sox again, and the Dodgers get screwed in that whole deal.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Chuck, what do you got, man? What do you think? Where do you think we're going?
Well, what happens if Steve Cohen buys the Mets with all his beautiful money, and then Mookie Betts is on the Mets?
Well, that's nice to think and that's nice to believe, but even if Steve Cohen did buy the team, it wouldn't happen by then anyways. So.
Yeah. Well, and who knows? Our teams for sale right now? You know what I mean? Everywhere in the business, everywhere is closed. Everything is shut down. So is anyone really looking to buy a team at this point?
No. Another good point. It's right now everything's shut down, and nobody really ready to get back to business at all.
Yeah.
And right now the only discussion is if and when.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that's on the agenda, and also at the agenda for us.
Yes.
We want baseball. We want to talk about it. It's our diversion besides all sports. But basically, when you look at it now, that's secondary. We need to get back to some type of normalcy as a society. We need to get back into the fold. I frankly don't know when we'll ever see normalcy again.
Right.
The way it was. That's more of a concern at this point. So I think the game and all sports in general is secondary at this point. And you could think of Steve Cohen being a potential owner of the Mets or anyone else that has the money. But that's right now, I think just all you can talk is speculation right now. And just hope we can get back to normal first.
Absolutely. To the other guys here in the room, Dan, you were talking a little bit about your industry and what's happening and what you're doing right now. How right before you started doing the tents and all that for the virus, how was your job affected by this?
Well, since our wonderful Governor Murphy shut down all non-essential construction, which you need to do.
Yeah.
It was the normal thing. You'd be working and you go on to the next job or you sit a little bit. But now it's to the point where there's so many guys on our out of work list. So now the work scene doesn't look so well because now it's going to take everybody to start revamping up again and start doing all that shit. So I don't know. As far as labor unions and all that, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while for everything to get back up. But to see what's going on right now and all these tents and all these jobs that are going on out in Long Island, you got to remember there's a lot, big up to the nurses and big ups to, everybody on the real front lines that are face to face with the thing. But also big up to the construction workers, big up to the hotels that stay open for the construction workers, and big up to the travelers that come from North Dakota, Chicago. I've met, 200 different people. I don't know them, and they're all from all over the country. And they came out just to come here to help, and they already had jobs.
Yeah.
So that speaks. Just so many levels that I don't know. I just it's something crazy. It's nobody's an asshole to each other. It's not a typical union job where everybody's just talking shit. Everybody's like, yeah, I got you. You want to help? Oh yeah, okay, I got you. All different and it does. And I hope that this stays the same way throughout. Like we don't forget what just happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then all of a sudden the next day I'm like, fuck this carpenter, fuck this plumber, I'm just hoping I'm not like that. But no, it's and everybody out here, by the way, is a Jets Mets fan, which I fucking love.
Right. All right.
But you want to take this step on my end in the business I'm in.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, we're hurting, and it's obvious.
There's nothing to cover.
There's nothing to cover, and the editors ask you to come up with something that you can get around. Update what are the guys doing or whatever. Basically, nobody's really tuning into that.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of layoffs. ESPN has taken a very big hit. Even I've taken a hit a little bit. I've been told, we're still going to use you, but not as much. And, of course, that's going to affect me. So, another guy will pick me up to do something else, but it's not going to be the same.
Right.
So on the print end, the electronic as it is more now, the radio side, and you've seen what happened at WFAN and other radio stations, and even the TV side, where they seem to be retaining people, but ESPN is taking a big hit in this, and it's obvious. Look, there's nothing in, so there's no advertising money, there's no revenue. You're going to take a hit. That's what it's all about. The media industry will be totally different as well.
Yeah.
You won't be seeing as many people covering baseball games in the press box, many guys as you used to. It's going to be very, very limited, even when the safety issue is there, when we have safety to be up there. I don't know when we'll ever be able to go back into a clubhouse. That's another story. But the major part of it is guys who's just like you guys affected with your jobs. So were affected. And so major newspapers are going out of business, by the way. And the Cleveland Plain Dealer, the LA Times is down to nothing. And I'm hearing here in New York, the New York Daily News cutting payroll 40%. They really don't have much of a staff as it is, and they might be on their last days. I mean, that's just the way it is right now. It's it hurts. It really hurts. I never thought we'd get to this point, and I don't know how long it's going to take to get out of it. I really don't. And I'm worried. I'm really worried.
Chuck,
I hope you're all safe, though. I hope you're all well and safe.
Yeah,
I want to talk to you a little bit because you're in the restaurant industry, and I know that you're greatly affected in your industry as well. Do you want to speak a little bit about the restaurant? I've done some things about the restaurant industry on this already. What's going on for you?
Well, I'm in North Miami Beach, Florida. My restaurant is on the Collins. If you've ever been to Miami, it's 95% tourism. So my establishment has been shut down since St. Patrick's Day, essentially. And we are just revamping our to-go orders, only on Friday and Saturday. But I will tell you this, we haven't received a dime, not a dime. There is no small business bailout. $30 worth of Ruth Chris. They went to your Shake Shacks and stuff like that. Us, we have 75 seats. We're not getting a penny. And I'm convinced we're not getting a penny. They can offer you a loan, and if you get the loan, you got to pay that back. But we're tiny. I rent $16,000. It's a small restaurant. But, we're grateful for the business we do get on Friday and Saturdays for some of our regulars, but it's rough. It's rough. But can I ask Rich a question real quick?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Rich, who's your favorite host on the Fan right now?
JJ.
Really?
I love JJ.
Wow.
I love
excellent.
JJ. Yeah, he keeps the show flowing. He's very good with the callers. He's knowledgeable. I love his energy. And I also like Sal Licata. I like Sal.
Yeah, I like
Sal. Sal gives me, he's got a lot of old school in him as a young guy. And
JJ's got a little bit of Mad Dog in him, though.
I love JJ. Very similar to that. Similar in some ways, but boy, I just love. I listen to him all night because I can't sleep at night, so I'm up all night.
Likewise. Yeah.
And I love listening to him. And unfortunately, I've never met him, and I don't know him, but he knows who I am.
Yeah.
So,
Of course he
he's
does.
my favorite. Yeah.
That's all that matters.
I want to ask Lex. Lex, you're a DJ. I know the wedding industry is fucked right now. So talk to me. I mean, that's another industry in which,
Hey, you want to talk before you go? I said you want to talk to my buddy here. My best friend is an NYPD officer.
Yeah.
He can tell you how that's affected. He's over there.
Definitely. Yeah.
I could put him on later if you want.
Okay, for sure. Go ahead, Lex. Just real quick.
He's busy watching the Michael Jordan thing right now on 30-30.
Yeah, we all know. We can hear it.
That's a bunch of guys.
Go ahead, Lex.
As far as the DJ business, it's completely on a halt. Nothing's going on. All my parties are getting pushed back.
Same.
Luckily they're pushing them back farther in the year. But anybody who just postponed it for a month or so, now we're looking for new dates. Sometimes a lot of dates are already booked, so they're scrambling around. I had one wedding pushed to next year. It's crazy, but we're trying to get by with it as far as we can do.
Well, you ain't got my wedding because I'm not getting married anyway.
But it's tough out there, man. It's really tough out there. I mean, like, that's a scary business too. Like,
It really is.
anything, Rich, like you're talking about, our stadium's going to be empty, right? Are people going to go to weddings? How are people going to feel about going to a restaurant? What construction jobs are you going to have? You know what I mean? Like, all of the industries that we are in, will sports writers come back? Will Andy Martino have a job?
Look, the bad case of the matter is, especially my industry, we're friends and we're not friends. It was competitive,
right?
And you don't want to see anyone lose a job. That's a horrible feeling,
right? But Andy Martino, maybe. I'm just kidding.
No, I understand. Like Dan, ESPN Dan Raphael,
right?
The main boxing writer, who I can't stand. Okay,
right? Yeah.
And there's not many people that do. He's making 6-figure salary.
Yeah.
And when I heard, look, I don't want anyone to lose a job, but I don't feel sorry for him. So, you know what I mean? I didn't feel sorry that he lost his job. I can't stand the guy.
Right. He's an asshole.
I mean, that's just a personal thing. I can't stand the guy, but it's going to happen. And it's the unfortunate thing of this pandemic. It's going to happen. The guy that I wish would lose his job is the one running the whole country. That I want.
Shit.
I love it. Do you guys have any questions for Rich? Rich, you still follow wrestling too?
Yeah. In fact, I'm doing some wrestling stuff this week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you real quick about wrestling, and we'll jump back to the Mets. But what did you think of these empty arena WrestleMania matches?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Bogus. Stupid. Ridiculous.
I tried watching it. I just couldn't get into it.
That wasn't WrestleMania.
No. I don't even know what
No, that wasn't WrestleMania. That was an audition. That was a rehearsal.
Yeah.
That's all that was.
And it's so goofballish when they're
of course it is, because
talking to each other.
And if
you follow my post, and if you followed what I wrote on Facebook posts throughout all WrestleMania weekend, those 2 nights of dumb mania, as I called it. Pro wrestlers are used to this in one regard. They come up out of gyms, the schooling grounds, and they do rehearsal and they do audition. So, and there's nobody there to see that.
Right.
One. Before the matches, right? They do rehearsals before the TV. They rehearse everything. They'll go in an empty arena at first where there's no one there, especially WrestleMania. They do it all the time. It has to ring out. They work a few moves together. So they're used to that. What they're not used to, though, is knowing it's a big event like that, and taped or not, there's no one there to watch it. And if you're watching Raw and SmackDown and their other programming that they have, and they're doing these live things or tapings with no fans in there, there is no interest. It's like watching a rehearsal, watching an audition. It shouldn't be happening. I don't care if it's entertainment in their regard. Safety, they say, is okay. They get tested and all that. It's just not the product we want to see.
Yeah, it's
and they should just go to a studio format and stop appeasing Fox or USA or the sponsors or whatever is involved. They're losing a tremendous amount of money, like everyone else, but a big entity like them losing more. They lost over I think $30 million not helping WrestleMania the way it wanted in Tampa. They're really fooling themselves by doing what they're doing. And even though the wrestlers are going with their plan, they're not happy about it. They'd rather be home with their families.
Yeah, absolutely.
To make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah, nobody wants to be involved in it.
No.
Yeah.
No. So,
all right, so let me ask you guys this question. I don't know when Citi Field is going to open back up. Whenever it does open back up, what is the first thing you're going to run to and eat when you get to Citi Field? A little fun.
You want to ask?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you that.
I'm going to ask first.
Yeah.
With me, the first thing I'm going to do,
right?
I'm going to say I'm home. That's what I'm going to say.
I love that. Yes, me too.
And then I'm going to run right up to the media dining room where I always go, right? And I'm going to have my nice meal that I miss, okay? And I'm going to see the people that I love.
Yeah,
and I'm going to see the people in that dining room, and the security guys and the stadium workers, all those people that make it happen. they're like a second family.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go give them a hug and say, good to see you again. I love you guys. It's just so great to be back.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's what it would be like for me.
Yeah. Dan, what are you running to when you get to Citi Field?
The Porta John first.
I mean,
and
Shake
I'm
Shack.
gonna run Shake Shack. I'm gonna run to Pat LaFrida's steak sandwich. That's my shit. I will pay $16, $17, $18. I don't give a shit.
22 for the year that we missed. Yeah.
Right. I'll pay. Just give me fucking baseball.
So good.
Yeah,
But that's it. That's what I would go
Buck,
for.
where are you going? Where are you running to?
The first thing I would do when I walk into Citi Field is go find my good man Nicholas, the pin man. Give him a big
right.
hug.
We wish him well. He's
Yeah.
going through a
He's
hard
had a
time
lot of
right
problems, man. A lot of problems.
now.
I talked to him today,
Nice.
and he thanked me for reaching out.
I love that guy, and I love Eddie the Cowbell Man as well.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
What about you, Lex? What are you doing, man, when you get to Citi Field?
When I get in there, I get plenty of food in the parking lot.
Right.
Shout out to Norman on that. But usually I head straight to the bridge. I find Chuck. I stand in front of him, and he holds it down. I can see what's going on.
Yes.
Well, listen, it's great to have us all here and connect. I missed opening day. I missed my home. I missed Citi Field. And I know.
Well, Pete, what are you gonna run to?
Good. I actually totally agreed with you about Pat LaFrida's. Yeah, like that,
okay, all right.
That's where I'm going. But I'm gonna just take in the stadium and appreciate it more. That we have if it does come back. I don't know if we're gonna ever see games like that for a long time. I think there's going to be a lot of empty buildings for a long time.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, I think next year, because they'll give them plenty of time to get all this together till the next late March, early April. And the question is, how many fans are going to go back?
Yeah.
Will they?
It's going to be such a sellout.
Right.
Will they be?
Well, let me ask you, all the guys here in this room, would you go back? I mean, Rich, you're going to go back. Obviously, it's what you do.
Well, I don't know if I'll have a job. Number one.
Okay, fair enough.
And the other thing is, we don't know how many media members are going to be allowed to do what we did.
Yeah.
There might be restrictions. MLB and the teams themselves, I've been hearing, it might be different, totally different. There may not be. It's unpredictable. I really can't tell you.
It's also funny because I feel like baseball there's always a thing about baseball where it's sort of, you have this log jam in an outfield, right? And it sort of, and it sort of resolves itself in one way or the other, right? I feel like this thing about reporters coming into the locker room was building to a blowout at some point. I mean, look, last year, Mickey Callaway and Jason Vargas almost knocked a guy out.
Well, there's a lot of stories to that.
Yeah, I understand.
Let me hear
him.
I can tell you the real truth about that at another time because I don't know who's watching right now, but I know exactly what happened. And it was. I could leave you with this. It wasn't Mickey Callaway's fault.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But so the thing is, it was building, but now with the restrictions sort of in place, it is possible that might resolve that particular issue, right?
But it doesn't help us.
Right for you, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help us because we need that access.
Yeah.
Without clubhouse access or even getting on the field, which could be another restriction.
Definitely.
We can't get the information that you guys, the fans, need.
Yeah.
Players talk to us. We get stories. That's how we generate buzzes, or things that are happening. We need that. We can't depend on watching and then, what's the use of working then? And we have to be there. And the whole part and experience of this job that I do and covering the Mets or any major league team is that one-on-one with the players and that access to talk to them.
Yeah.
It's because you can get the information that the fans want to know.
Yeah.
All right. And without that, it's useless. It just, you go to the ballpark, watch a game. I'd stay home, watch it on TV.
Right.
That's all. You know?
Let me ask each one of you guys, which player were you most looking forward to this season? Chuck, who is it all about this year?
Diaz.
Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz. Yeah. It's make or break. Him or Betances. But now Betances is on a 1-year deal. So now what happens?
Well, he'll still have that deal. From what I understand, go back to that contract issue. They don't play a game, he's still on that contract.
Is it a team option for the second year?
Excuse me?
Is it a team option for the second year? Or player option?
Yeah, but he has the 1-year deal with an option for, I think, a second. But he was signed to 1 year. So he doesn't play a game this year because of the situation. He's still here.
Yeah, because there's been no playing this year.
That's right. Lex, and, the fact that they're getting paid is a part of their deal with the owners for 2 months. That has
nothing to do with
That has nothing to do with games on the field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And not playing games on the field as well. I feel to bring this up. That affects future arbitration and contracts.
Sure.
No MVP, no batting title, no this, no that, all that.
All-Star game, nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lex, who was the player you were most looking at?
I like the toss-up between Conforto and Nimmo. They played a lot to the team last year, and I want to see what they would do this year to it, get their stats a lot higher. But they played very well last year overall for the whole season, even though we were up and down all over the place.
Yeah. Dan, who you got?
Me, if you ask me, it was J.D. Davis.
Yeah, I think
I wanted to fucking see Yoenis Cespedes.
Yeah.
Who the fuck I want to see? And I want to see him with fucking Pete Alonso, and I want to see him back to back, and I want to see him jacking shit. Now, I know I'm deranged.
No, I don't think so. Now, that Cespedes
You want to see a wild boar? You want to see wild boars?
No, Cespedes is an interesting one because here's a guy who, probably can come back when the season comes back, right? I mean, he's going to be healed at that point. So if we're saying that the playing time is not affected now that season, you have another outfielder, right? I lost the entire room. The entire room froze. I don't know if I'm still live, but wow. Okay. The entire room froze. Thank you, Zoom, for that.
But there were no wild boars chasing him.
There we go. All right, guys.
But yeah, J.D. Davis is my answer. I'm looking forward to him to have a super year, assuming he played every day.
What about you, Pete?
I was going Alonso, man. I just wanted to see how he was going to follow up the first season. I mean, he's an incredible person. Like, I mean, he is the next David Wright of our organization. Yeah. He's our franchise player, and McNeil,
he's the face. Yeah.
Those two guys, I couldn't wait for this year. But, I mean, listen, I think Alonso is going to be solid. A year off for some guys could totally change their trajectory, man. A lot of these baseball players and just athletes in general need that constant playing. That's what makes them better, If they're not in games, I don't know what they're going to do, because they can't even play practice games, right? I mean, they can play PlayStation games, but that's not going to
No, they're so I talked to JD, I talked to Dom and Smith. Who's another one, by the way, that could have been looked forward to him.
Yeah. Very much.
Even Conforto, they really don't have availability to go to fields because they've been knocked down where they live.
Right.
So they do makeshift things in their homes, wherever they are. And that's not the same.
That's not reality.
No.
That's,
No. So you would not see a quality ball player on the field if they do resume and the stupid buzz that everyone's been talking about that MLB created. These guys are not going to be in shape, and it would be a bad product, and they're liable to get hurt, which makes it even worse. So, we got to talk about next year, not this year. That's what we got to talk about. Yeah.
Seriously, guys. Well, listen, guys, this was a lot of fun having my Mets people together because I've certainly missed it, and it was good seeing.
You want to say hello to Josh?
Yeah, sure. Let's say hello.
He doesn't want to say hello.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of mine. There he is, relaxing.
What's up, Josh?
Hey.
What's going on, bro? Let's go Mets, man.
He's one of those guys out there in the field helping people
Yeah.
NYPD. So
Good dude, man.
no, he's a he's a Yankee fan.
Get the hell.
Oh, you're fucking out of here.
I put up with it though. I put up with it.
I know we all have those.
But anyway, all I can say is let's hope that we can get back to some type of normalcy soon.
Yeah, man.
And that we all stay healthy, as I say all the time on my Facebook, Twitter post, everywhere, to be safe, be well, and stick together. We hopefully will never have anything like this again. Though I don't know how long it's going to take to get out of this. I can't believe this has happened.
I know.
It's like I'm going to be 63 years old in a few weeks. And I've lived through some things, but I never thought we'd get to this. This is, I feared we were going to have something major, disaster, but not like this. But to me, it's like an atomic bomb hit us.
Totally.
And that we are the Walking Dead, except we don't have zombies walking around.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. And
Absolutely.
I hate to say that.
I missed that place too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's, everything's been disrupted. Even like if you have a favorite TV show that you watch and have a few, they can't do finales. They can't do a finale.
Yeah.
Production got stopped.
It's crazy.
Everything. Just really, really bad. So I hope you guys stay well, stay in touch, and
you too, Rich.
Listen, before you guys, I've been all about.
Let me just show you something here. See if you have any interest in any of this Met stuff I have right here in the in the lounge. You see that?
Yeah,
I'll take it.
You see some of that?
I love this shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you see some of that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Damn.
It goes to show you how big of a Met guy I am. And
where the box of tissues?
Tissues. That's all I gotta tell you there. You hear them?
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. Listen, before we wrap up here, guys, I want to say I'm all about gratitude these days. So I want to say a little something to each of you for being here, and something that.
Sorry about that, guys. I wanted that you'd want to hear that.
Yeah. Well, I'm all about gratitude these days, so I really want to say a little bit about each of you for being on this show today. To DJ Lex, I appreciate your energy. Thank you so much for
Thanks for having
bringing me into your wedding, and I appreciated being a part of your day. It was amazing. You got a great family, and
appreciate all you did as well.
Yeah, you're a good dude, and I appreciate you. Chuck, man, getting to know you, I feel like you are like a brother to me now. Both you and Dan, we become these Mets and all this stuff, man. I love texting with you and digging deep into what the fuck Callaway did, or whatever. Great dude, man, and I appreciate very much. And Dan, man, listen, I love you, bro. I think you're a great guy, and you're always there in the need, helping a hand, and I appreciate so much what you're doing. And for Rich, when I was a kid, I spent many a night listening to you live on WFAN with Jody Mack. And
thank you.
A lot of those years and days of wondering, growing up and whatnot, and I appreciate the time that you put into that. So,
anytime, and I'm glad to be a part of what you do, and I'm always there for you when you need me, Pete, and all the guys.
Yeah.
If you know how to reach me, message me on Facebook anytime.
Yep.
And I'll even give you my personal number as well if you do that.
Cool,
okay?
Man. All right, guys.
And I hope to see you all at Citi Field at some point down the line. And
absolutely.
We'll keep in touch, all right?
Good, guys. All right.
God bless you all and stay safe and well, all right?
All right. Thanks.
See you in October.
See you, man.